The mountains with their huge bulk had not been established, for God had not as yet then decreed the creation of the high mountains, the patriarchs, prophets, apostles, and martyrs, or the other saints of great holiness, and this was not yet exerting its full weight and force in the mighty and sweet manner in which God executes his counsels and great works. And not only before the mountains, which are the great saints, but also before the hills I was brought forth, which are the orders of the holy angels. Before them the divine mind had conceived the most holy humanity united hypostatically with the divine word, and the mother who bore it. The Son and the Mother were conceived before the hierarchies of the angelic hosts, so that what David said in the 8th Psalm becomes intelligible. What is man that thou art mindful of him, or the Son of Man that thou visitest him? Thou hast made him a little lesser than the angels. Thou hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou hast set him over the works of thy hands. Thou hast subjected all things under his feet. Let all understand and know that there is a God-man who is above all angels and men, and that all are his inferiors and his servants. For being the first of men, he is God at the same time. He is the first in the divine mind and in the divine will, and with him is associated and inseparably connected one woman and virgin, his mother, the exalted queen of all creation. And if man, as says the same psalm, was crowned with glory and was constituted above all the works of the hand of the Lord, it was because the God-man, his chief, had merited both this crown and also that which is borne by the angels. The same psalm adds that after having made man a little less than the angels, he placed him over the works of his hands. Yet these very angels were works of his hands. Thus David spoke to the whole human race when he said, God made man a little less than the angels. But although man was inferior in his nature, one man is found who is of superior make, and is set over these same angels, who were works of the hand of God. This superiority is in the order of grace, not only as far as his divinity united to the humanity is concerned, but also in regard to the humanity itself, in so far as grace was conferred by the hypostatic union. In a proportionate degree, his most holy mother likewise attained this superiority, just as some saints in virtue of the same incarnate Lord can reach a station and throne superior to that of the angels. It was further said, I was brought forth or born, which means more than being conceived. For the latter refers to the divine intellect of the Blessed Trinity at the instant when the Incarnation was known and, as it were, weighed in regard to its propriety. But to be brought forth refers to the act of the divine will, which determined upon this work, for the most holy Trinity, in its divine counsels, resolved upon the efficacious execution of this work by determining and preliminarily putting into effect the wonderful decree of the hypostatic union and of calling into being Mary most holy. This is the reason for using first the word conceived and then the words brought forth or born. For in reality the work was at first conceived and then immediately afterwards determined upon and willed. He had not yet made the earth, nor the rivers, nor the poles of the earth. Before the creation of the second earth, namely the earthly paradise, the sense in which the earth is mentioned a second time, into which the first man, after he had been created from the first earth of the Damascene plains, was placed, and where he sinned, the sacred humanity of the Word, and the material from which it was to spring, namely the Virgin, was determined upon. For it was necessary that God should provide beforehand against her participating in sin, and against her being in any way subject to it. The rivers and pools of the earth are the militant church, and the gifts of grace which were to flow from the sources of the divinity. These were to flow toward all men, and with efficacy to the saints and the foreknown. Fixed in God as in their pole or pivot, and being dependent upon him,
They nevertheless move around him in seeking after the virtues of faith, hope, and charity, through which they sustain, vivify, and direct themselves, though yet entangled in human conversation. They are drawn toward their last end and toward the highest good, without swerving from the center from which they turn. Also, the sacraments and the institutions of the Church are here signified, her safety and stability, her beauty and sanctity without blot or wrinkle, for this is what is meant by this circumference and these rivers. Before the Most High prepared all this and ordained this mystical sphere and system of which Christ was to be the center and head, he decreed the union of the Word with human nature, and foresaw his mother through whom he was to execute these wonders in the world.